Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the Quantum Breakfast Show. Just kidding. Or just welcome back to the breakfast show.
Oh my goodness. What's going on, Neil? And good morning to everybody. It's been a while. I was just talking to Neil. I feel like I haven't seen him in a bit. He had some family stuff. I was a little bit busy this week too. So glad to be back. It seems to be a red day, Neil. I don't know if we're bringing the bad luck or we're bringing the good luck. We'll see by the end.
Yeah. That's why we're back. That's why we're back. A gentle, exactly, for a little bit of therapy. And of course, I had to come back with a nice opening. Here. So we're going to talk a little bit about the market and especially about all of the AI deals that have been announced over the last couple of days. I've just seen that even today we've had Nscale and Nvidia, another huge second round, I think, of investment, $1.1 billion or so. So it's interesting because remember, Jose, we were talking about what will Nvidia do with all of their free cash flow and all of that cash pile. And we're like, oh, maybe they'll just buy a CoreWeave or maybe they'll just buy an XYZ. And now, well, we're actually seeing what they're doing with OpenAI and with all the others. So what do you want to talk about first? That $100 billion deal or something else?
No, we can start off with that $100 billion deal, not the $100 deal, with the $100 billion. Yeah, I mean, like you mentioned, company has massive free cash flow, right? $72 billion in the trailing 12 months. Many analysts are expecting closer to $100 billion by the end of next year, which would be some crazy numbers for this player. And it's expected to $100 billion within the next, I forget what was the time frame. Did they give a time frame? I don't think they gave a, but it just mentioned that
about the 10 gigawatts
per gigawatts. Yeah. All right. So it takes time to build gigawatts, right? So I mean, even for Nvidia, I think I personally, as an Nvidia investor, think this is the smart move and make sure the AI engine stays running. Obviously, we've all seen that tweet where it's like the circle is just Nvidia feeding OpenAI, OpenAI feeding Orcl, and Orcl feeding Nvidia back. I think there's some truth to that, but eventually, and maybe already happening, I think someone else posted it, where it's like you have that revenue coming from OpenAI as well that's really helping grow, because the 100 billion isn't enough theoretically, right, to cover the 300 billion RPO. It's just to make sure things are kicking, right? You want to make sure you're keeping this AI beast alive, and then with everything else happening in the world, that supposedly AI revenue should kick back in. So, I mean, I think for Nvidia is makes sense for them to use this money. I don't want them to have cash just sitting around. I prefer this over massive buybacks or massive dividends. Um, yeah. So I think that's maybe my top level. I think it's great news. Obviously, I see the AI circle question happening. Um, your thoughts, Neil?
I mean, mind-blowing stuff, of course, right? Because it seems like the dominoes are falling one after the other, right? Deals happening each and every day, each and every week. Nvidia is always involved, of course. But look, I can understand. Yes, people are skeptical about that flywheel, right? Money flowing to one, the other one buys products from the other makes money on it, buys product from the other, and the flywheel goes round and round and round. But in order, again, I understand why people might be skeptical, but the fact is that Nvidia is extremely profitable. Nvidia has too much money that they don't know what to do with it, right? They're paying you like a cent, 2 cents of dividends. They're buying back an insane amount of shares as well, dollar wise, and they're still growing like crazy. So, what are they supposed to do? For them, it made sense. Just invest in all of these NVIDIA preferred partners, invest in OpenAI, and make sure that this revolution, right? Because if this is bigger than the internet, why not pour money into this project to make sure that these things do advance quicker, that they do become successful, and that, of course, NVIDIA does stay on top? It makes sense. If it was an unprofitable company, then yeah, I would say, okay, this is a pyramid scheme and it doesn't make any sense. But they have the money and they have too
But
much.
I also feel most businesses work like this, right? Where like, let's say I'm just thinking, let's say you're a car company, you buy off or you make sure the tire companies or the engine companies are doing well. Then the engine companies and all this make sure that certain companies are doing well. Isn't that just the circle of business itself?
It's like
So
VCs.
yeah, and the other thing is just when any emerging technology comes in, usually you have some form of, I guess, within the government when some form of subsidies, right? You usually have, um, I think the market is taking role of that right now. It's like, look, I don't care if the government or the world is trying to subsidize this new technology to grow even faster and faster. I'm gonna do it myself. And that's the private the private market doing it. It's I think it's way better to see this where um I don't know. I see the reasoning behind it. If the AI market was a different, if what we heard from my thought process, Neil, would be a lot different if we didn't hear from the Google clouds, if we didn't hear from the Microsoft, if we didn't hear from the Amazon, the one true story that they all gave us. If they had more AI compute, they would be able to grow their revenues a lot faster. If those three players, or even Meta, right? Let's just say all these hyperscalers, if all of them did not say things like that, my picture on this would be different. But when you have evidence from the Max 7, from CEOs that usually don't agree with everything, right? Like Elon and and Mark and Elon and whoever else he fights, they're all agreeing one thing: compute is needed for the next leg of evolution. When you have, well, like I said, when you have the true data of numbers from these cloud providers that they're growing, when you have CEOs that usually don't agree with a lot of things, all agreeing in one thing, it tells me at least where I'm at right now, this isn't the worst case. The moment you start to see, though, any of those, the problem with this right now is like the moment you start to see any things go wrong, it could be a massive domino effect on the downside. But from what we're seeing right now, I don't see that just yet.
Yeah, and I mean, like you said, this is, and like people in the chat say as well, this is just the way the private public market works. Good company has lots of money, sees a lot of potential, invest that money in the potential becomes bigger, and so the industry grows. That's it. Previously, we've had, right, 4G, 5G, all of those investments, right, throughout the years. We had at the start of the internet also plenty of investments, right? A lot of it also coming from the government. In this case, it's Nvidia. And of course, I think most people would love for private companies like Nvidia's and all of that, for them to invest the money instead of the government, because the government basically you paying for it. So I think it's good. Of course, these are huge numbers, and we've been talking about the skeptical side of all of these Stargate projects as well, right? Because the players involved, the OpenAIs, the Oracles, they don't have the money. In this case, Nvidia has the money. Then we've also heard that a lot of the projects, the players involved are going to use financing options, right? Co-financing from whoever will give them the money. Okay, now it start to make a lot more sense. Because previously it was like, oh, $500 billion here, $300 billion there, just throwing around numbers, and it didn't make much sense. Because we knew, okay, good company, right? Oracle, great company. But they don't have the free cash flow to support all of these projects. So in this case, with the NVIDIA announcement, it made sense to me.
Yeah, I agree. And I think Lourdes here is right, Neil. Lourdes mentioned, guys, if is only circular right now because very few companies are big enough to support the others, right? And only a selected amount are able to build these massive AI infrastructures. That's why it's become a lot of the stocks that we follow are becoming very popular just because this whole ecosystem, while there could be tens, 20s of stocks, it's usually the same amount. So and I agree. I think Roberto mentioned about OpenAI being kind of the black box here, right? We kind of have Nvidia as an input going into OpenAI, but OpenAI has other inputs that we can't really see. The only one that we can see as a public is that input that we know is coming from Nvidia, maybe some of these other investments like Microsoft, but OpenAI has other inputs and other outputs that we don't know about, and that can change that whole logistics or that whole kind of controls panel, where you can kind of see the real outputs. So anybody can make some pretty cool charts to make it seem like it is a circle, whatever Roberto said a few minutes ago. But there's a lot of other things within that play, that there's so many other outputs within it. And Neil, I just want to know, did we talk about Nvidia and Intel? When was the last time we met?
No, we did. We talked about it.
We did?
Last
Okay.
Thursday.
Was that all right? I didn't know if we
Yeah.
did or not. I wanted to talk about
It
that some
feels
more,
like it
but
happened a month ago, but it happened just I think a week ago. Um,
um,
OpenAI is a black box. We have no idea of knowing if revenue is growing. No, we have ideas. They usually tell us every now and then, and they also tell us how much money they're expected to burn. So they're not really afraid to tell us the good and the bad side of it. Apparently, we have some
and
macro
it,
news.
if I can, just before we go into those macro news, Neil, with OpenAI, right, we hear them burning about $10 billion or whatever money. And many people are like, but this company isn't profitable. How's it doing? You have to just think of how much revenue it has, and then the influx of money coming in here from Jensen, right? If Jensen is giving 10 billion for gigawatts, it takes, for example, let's say 30 gigawatts to 30 billion for 5-year gigawatts. Can they have the revenue to subsidize the rest with that thing? And I think the answer is it's not impossible. It's not impossible. Go ahead with the with these breaking news.
So Vladimir here saying that GDP data is out. I didn't know that was today, but here we are. So Q2 GDP rises annualized 3.8%. Estimated number was 3.3, so that's better. But again, I do think that these numbers will be revised. Don't know when, but they usually do get revised. I think 2 or 3 times. Someone in the chat can correct me. So these are the numbers that came out. U.S. jobless claims 218,000 in September. Estimated number was 233,000. So that's that. Thanks for the super chat. Apparently, Cypher, another one of those smaller Bitcoin mining players, gets a deal like Wolf with Google. Okay, I didn't know this.
3.3 billion over 10 years, I believe.
3.3 billion over 10 years.
And it's pretty much usually if it's long term like that, it's more of like the rental of the power and infrastructure, right? It's more like that power show.
When was this announced?
This morning.
So why is the stock flat?
I don't know, but it was announced this morning.
That's strange.
But stocks are down today, Neil. I know we have CoreWeave down like 3%. We have Nebius down a few.
Yeah, we'll go over the heat map in a bit, but It's strange, no? Because usually if you get a deal like this for, okay, I know, like you can see the name here is up 200% or so in the last
Mhm.
month or so, but still, you would think that it would go up even more
Yeah.
on this news because now
The
fundamentally there is something that's happening.
yeah. The only thing I would say, Neil, like you mentioned, right, the stock has driven up. Was the market expecting a bigger deal than that, right? 3.3 billion in 10 years, 330 million a year. And yeah, I saw this wild. So the stock was up about 10% almost before when the news came out.
Mm,
Then I saw a drop. I saw it at 4% last time, and now it seems like you mentioned it is down on the day. Um, I and that's the crazy thing
interesting.
about the market after seeing such a crazy roundup is like how much was priced in? Were people expecting a bigger deal than this? Um, was the active power rental maybe not as high as they thought? I don't know how much active power they have and how much this rental was like 150 megawatts or something, 189. It was something between 100 and 200 megawatts, but maybe we can see the press release, Neil, to see if
I'm
any
trying to,
information
yeah,
might be there.
trying to look. I also see that there was a secondary offering here.
Mm,
So Google takes a 5.4% stake in Cypher. So they secure 24 million warrants as part of a 10-year, $5 billion AI hosting deal. Um, huh. So
then
there
they
is a
raised
backstop
about
here.
$1 billion, $800 million in convertible, 0% convertible senior notes.
Yeah, and
Uh,
the extension could raise value to 7 billion of the in that 10-year period.
mm,
$1.4 billion of obligations secured. Okay. Um, yeah, no, it's interesting.
yeah.
Interesting why it didn't move much, but yeah, overall, right now, this is the heat map pre-market. What we're looking at right now.
Bum, bum,
Um,
bum.
it looks very, very scary because we have some bright red. So Orcl is bright red, 3.5% down. Same with Palantir, same with AppLovin, Google, Meta, Nvidia all down 1.235.
What is IBM doing that it's green? Some quantum news.
Is it quantum news?
No, I don't know.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see in a bit. But yeah, Micron.
Yeah. All right. So, all right, good. We did our Nvidia OpenAI. Now let's do Micron earnings. Did you? I haven't read it yet, Neil. I kind of like I read it once. What I mean, I haven't read it is like I usually like to read everything out a few times so I can really grab some information. Anything really stood out to you?
Stood other than the stock being down after a good report and good comments? No. Mm, it was a good report. It was a good report. Of course, we knew that it was going to be a good report
Oh,
because
actually, IBM was a quantum thing. IBM stock rose 3% after announcing it had successfully completed the world's first known quantum-enabled algorithm trading trial using IBM's quantum computing technology. Quantum, quantum, quantum.
wow, incredible stuff. Almost fell asleep there. Almost fell asleep there.
um,
um, no, but
but yeah,
for
back to Micron.
Micron, the quarter, of course, we knew was going to be a good one because they raised their own guidance a month or so ago. So that wasn't the issue. Um, and then they talked a little bit about the pricing in 2026 and HBM. All good commentary there. They think they believe they have leadership product, good speed, good energy, efficiency, and all of that. They also still believe that 2026 is going to be sold out for them. They talked a little bit about the custom memory chips that we've talked about before and how that's going to be a high margin business for them in the future. I think they mentioned they have 6 customers now,
Yeah, and did they
6
talk
big
about that?
ones.
for that HBM4E, which is going to be the customizable one, did they announce the partnership with TSMC? I don't remember if that was.
Yes, they are going to
It was
work with
TSMC.
TSMC.
Okay.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yeah. So no, overall, it was a good quarter and a good earnings call, which is why most analysts, if not all, have raised their price target the day after. Um, but the stock is down a little bit. Of course, the stock has run up a lot, leading to this earnings report. Stock was actually at 170 after hours, opened up at 168, and now we're at 157. But yeah, again, as we've seen, the whole market is, well, the whole market. The names that we do follow are red at the moment, so we are having
Mhm.
those healthy pullbacks, which is always good to have. Healthy pullbacks. You don't want everything to be overly stretched.
Mhm.
Um, we've seen, for example, if we look
Yeah.
at let's look at the names that are green. It's
And
only
Neil,
Intel and
sorry, one
Amazon.
thing with oh wow, wow, that's weird. But one thing with Micron that I do like that they did talk about the HBM4 and kind of some of those rumors that were happening
Mhm.
where HBM4 was delayed. And it wasn't that it was delayed because of any issues with Micron. The rumors were they were delayed because big customers like Nvidia had increased the kind of speed that was
The
needed for that
requirements, yeah.
technology. Yeah, the requirements. So they were like, look, we need actually better specs than this to make it worthwhile for us. So there were rumors that things were going to go that Micron wasn't able to meet those new requirements. I'm happy they came out swinging and said, look, with HBM4, we've, I think the requirement was like 10, I think, I forget what the actual, 10 gigabits per second. And they mentioned something like 11 on pin to pin speed. And so they mentioned, they told us it was even better than what the market was requiring and that they were already sending it to customers. They still believe it's a better product than the competition. So I'm happy they came up with that, and that should eliminate a lot of those rumors, or should eliminate all those rumors, actually.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. And this again, the pullback right now is a pullback here um, across the board. And I don't think for now, HBM is not a commodity. Maybe in the future it will become a commodity, which I believe is why they want also to go into that custom chip making part, because then you have very, very close relationships with specific customers and nobody else is going to take that away from you for now.
Yeah, so I agree. I think HBM, the new technology, the new HBM, right? I think eventually we're already seeing like HBM3 and HBM3E will eventually become a commodity. So in this memory space, you have to make sure you're innovating to the new standards as quickly as possible because that eliminates that commodity phase at the end. Luckily, like if you're moving on to HBM4, you're most likely also already reducing your capacity or manufacturing built out on HBM3 as you're focusing more on the HBM4, which for the trade-in ratio of DRAM to HBM continues to increase. So I think as long as you're one of those players, Eddie, that is innovating and is on top of the newest HBM, the commodity days might seem like a thing of the past. Now, the big issue is like if you have a slip up, like let's say forbid Micron has to slip up and they're stuck in HBM3 for a while, then that HBM3 can definitely become a commodity market for a while until they reach the next level. So it's very crucial for them to make sure they're always innovating. And that's, I think, the big risk with the memory players is if you have any slip up, you go back into kind of the commodity territory for a bit. And I agree with Neil, right? They mentioned this customizable where I think they talked about it. I don't know if in a conference or earnings that for right now, memory you can kind of just buy it and add it to the chip later on, very top level, but you can add it to your main chip. So you have a lot of potential customers. You have your SK Hynix, you have your Microns, you have your Samsungs, and you have your other players in the future with HBM customizable, you actually want to package them very closely to your chip, to like your GPU dies. And now you don't want to work with 30 people and do research and development with 30 people. You're only going to want to work with one or two. So that's also, like Neil mentioned, going to help destroy maybe a little bit of the commodity with the advanced HBM technology.
Agreed. Agreed. Um, all of the neo cloud type of players are down heavily this morning. So Applied Digital, 6.6, NeoCloud related, I'd say.
I
Down
agree.
6.6. CoreWeave down almost 4. Nebius down 5%. Iron down 3.3. Iron has been on an absolute tear in the last couple of weeks. So congrats to all of us Iron shareholders. I do want to pull up the latest release from Iron
This was
because we didn't,
nice.
yeah,
Yeah.
because we didn't talk about this. So they
Nope.
doubled their AI cloud to 23,000 GPUs, and they raised their AI cloud ARR target to over $500 million by Q1 2026. Again, it's a number that
Yeah.
does not
So
exist. It's what they think
question.
might exist.
Yeah. Question, Neil, with the 500 million in annual recurring revenue by Q1 of 2026, is that what their trailing 12 months would be at Q1 2026, or what Q1 times 4 will be?
I am glad you asked. First of all, it's annualized run rate. It's what might happen, and then they stretch it out.
Times
But
4. Okay, so it's what they
no,
expect.
not even times 4. Times 8,000 and something. I will show you. It's written right here. AI cloud ARR is calculated as GPU per hour pricing for contracted GPU multiplied by 8,760 hours per year. ARR of over $500 million is presented as an illustrative run rate measure of potential revenue based on the approximate 23,000 GPU deployment and internal company assumptions regarding utilization and GPU pricing. It is not fully contracted. There can be no assurance that it will be achieved, and actual revenue may differ materially. Of course, it assumes on-time delivery of commissioning of
Emissions
GPUs.
of
So
GPUs. Yeah.
um,
A lot of ifs here.
a lot of ifs, indeed,
Yeah.
a lot of ifs. But look, they've been on time with
Yeah,
most,
they've
if
been
not
really good
all.
at building,
Yeah.
at setting it
So
up.
I wouldn't be surprised, but yes, this number right here is not something that it's just a number that they assume they might maybe reach. But they were, and I think they are one of the only ones.
I think this is really good for AMD. I
They
think
have your
though,
1,100 AMD
yeah.
MI 350s.
Yeah. So if you do the quick math, right, 23,000, they have about 1.1 of AMD. That's about a 5% fleet of AMD GPUs. I think this could be a double-edged sword for AMD. If the next time they announced that they're expanding their fleet again and they put AMD again, then that's good news. But if they don't, then that could be seen as like, why aren't you expanding your AMD fleet even more? What happened, right? Because one thing, Neil, that I don't know if you've seen Iron, what they do a little bit different than some of the other players is like your CoreWeave, your Nebius, they order to contract, right? So
Mhm.
Nebius and CoreWeave, you got to have these prepayments, pre-contract, and then they order these GPUs. Iron does it a little bit. Someone's talking about CoreWeave news. I don't know if you can. I haven't seen anything, but it seems cool. But one thing Iron does differently, Neil, is they don't care if they're not contracted. They believe right now the market is so crazy that they're just buying as many as they can, and they already mentioned that it worked really well with the first 12,000 or whatever GPUs. That the moment they built them up, once they were upcoming, they what was that? That was for Iron. They rented them out right away. So right now, Iron is a little bit different. They're a little bit more aggressive. I wonder if it's going to bite them in the behind. But
No, because they own everything. They own the
yeah,
lands, they own the energy, they own everything. The
yeah,
CEO, co-CEO, co-founder went on
yeah,
Yahoo Finance.
yeah,
It's in the video that I forgot to release today, but it will
yeah.
be released after the live stream. But yes, CoreWeave did win something.
What did it win? Show
Money.
me.
CoreWeave
From
wins new OpenAI deal worth up to $6.5 billion, bringing total value of agreement to $22.4 billion.
that is wild.
It's the same $6.5 billion that they had with Nvidia before, the backstop thing.
The backstop. It could be. I mean,
The flywheel goes
yeah.
round and
But
round and round.
I think that backstop. Did we even talk about that backstop?
Yes,
Yeah,
we did.
we
We
did.
did.
Okay, then I'm probably not even going to mention it.
But yeah, okay. This is I get. Let's see what CoreWeave is now only down. Well, it's still down. It's still down, but it's now only down 2.5%
Yeah.
at the moment. Big deal. I mean, even Nebius, right? It's at
Yeah.
$106. Price is not seen since Monday, so um, not much of a difference. Not much of a difference there. But yeah, with
Mhm.
Iron, it's they talked. He said yesterday, look, we have too much demand and
Mhm.
we cannot catch up fast enough.
Yeah. So my thought process with that with Neil was they bought those AMD GPUs. These AMD GPUs are not, I guess, based on what we know of how they purchase, are not necessarily contracted right now. We also kind of saw it with the asterisk that they had. So that's why I think if we do see them buying more AMD GPUs on their next round, it showcases that AMD GPUs are actually kind of getting rented out. And I think that's a good case. If maybe in the next round they just buy more Nvidia and no AMD, it could be seen as, look, because they even mentioned, they said they're gonna pre-order a lot of stuff. They're gonna buy a lot of stuff. If they don't see demand for things, they're just gonna slow down the orders on those stuff and just order on whatever the market wants. Um, so yeah, but it's also true. Why did they buy M350s instead of MI355s? Unless they just put the MI350s as just because the MI350 55 is part of the MI350s. So I don't know if they just kind of just didn't want to name it correctly.
Yeah, maybe it's just like MI350 series. I don't know.
Yeah,
But it's going to be interesting to hear the rationale behind suddenly going with AMD, because all the others, Nebius, for example, state that they're just going to stay with Nvidia because they're in the ecosystem, and that's what the customers want. With Iron, I would assume that it's because maybe someone specifically asked for AMD, or Iron just wants to offer both and see
yeah.
what
Which one?
happens.
Yeah,
Yeah, because it's
and
still a small order.
yeah, and kind of like that backstop drop, Neil, that Nvidia has with CoreWeave. A lot of companies have that. There's been plenty of reports that AMD does it with some of their Neo clouds, right? So it could have been something like this, where AMD said, "Look, purchase some of our GPUs, get them to the market. If they don't get rented out, we'll rent them out for our own AI solution as well." So while only the Nvidia and CoreWeave news is announced, the main reason is because it's a massive deal. Nvidia has similar deals with probably other players, and AMD is reportedly to have similar deals with clouds to make sure they expand into their own AI GPUs. So it could also be something like that for AMD and Iron as well.
Hmm. I was just looking at something Roberto wrote. You haven't talked about Intel courting Apple. I didn't see anything, but now I do see something on
Yeah,
Reuters.
there's reports.
Yeah, has reports that Intel has approached Apple about securing an investment in the struggling chip maker. Why do they have to add struggling chip maker? Not nice. Not nice. But I mean, you never know. If Nvidia has come in and put in $5 million, then why wouldn't Tim Cook come in? Why wouldn't Tim Cook come in? And Masayoshi Son also. So interesting things. Interesting things. With Stargate that need gigawatts of power, which companies are likely to benefit most from it?
I think in the short term, Neil, is exactly what we're seeing right now. These PowerShell companies or these kind of AI Neo cloud players, your CoreWeave, your Applied. Unfortunately, a lot of them have gone up a nice amount already, but I believe there's still room for growth there. Um, in the long term, I mean, I know a lot of people are very excited about energy plays out there. There's one that I recently just got into, Neo, SEI, which deals with turbines and is a big customer of XAI is a big customer of them. I like them. I did my
SEI?
video. Yeah, this one is this one, SEI right here. Yeah. Um, so did a video on them in like the 32s. I think that's where my cost basis is. I don't mind adding a little bit more. It's a $2 billion market cap company, Neil. So one thing is in the power market, either most of them were super big already or not growing much. This one kind of breaks that a little bit. It does have a lot of kind of litigations behind some of the management, so that's definitely a bearish case. Unfortunately, I feel like the market is so crazy right now. They're not going to care about that in the short term either, though.
Nvitos is still here at hanging the
Yeah,
$6.
but it bounced off that thing nice.
Yeah,
That's what we were looking at. And
yeah,
I
but
think
now
this
it's
is
going
going to
back
continue
under
to be
the
a
yellow.
trading vehicle.
Fluence Energy. What is this? FLNC. This one has also gone up. Same pattern as the one that you talked about. Seems like something happened over the last couple of weeks. But yeah, and energy is the bottleneck for all of them. Like you can build buildings, deploy GPUs and all of that, but you need the energy to be available 24/7 in order for it to make sense. And of course at a good price as well.
Neil,
Nice
question.
news.
We're getting a lot of questions here, like kind of with a lot of volatility, a lot of this red today. What are your thoughts right now? Are you buying any? Are you rushing to buy anything? Are you rushing to sell anything? I think I know the answer already, but it seems a lot of people are wondering. And if this goes longer, like when are you going to start? If this downfall is more of a correction that lasts maybe a little bit longer due to maybe volatility of the government shutdown or other volatilities, what is your thought process right now? State of mind.
Yeah, so first up, Christian, I didn't see the news, so if you can write it in the chat. As for me, I I would love to add actually Shift4 and I said either Shift4 or Rubrik, but I would love to actually add both of these companies to the portfolio. Rubrik is cybersecurity, and Shift4 is Shift4. It's another fintech. Is another fintech player. The thing is, to open another position, I'd maybe have to take some profits from some other place. The ones that I was thinking about, which sounds strange after we've talked about it, is maybe taking a little bit of profits from the Micron position because it has become big. Actually, it has become quite big, especially this year, and maybe a tiny bit from Alibaba because Alibaba is also, I mean, doubled this year. The year to date, it's up 100%. Alibaba, and use a little bit of that money plus use the Intel call option money to open Shift4 and Rubrik because I do think that they were trading last week at an attractive prices. They're probably going to trade at attractive prices today. Let's actually have a look at Shift4, probably still 80, yeah, $80. Same price as before, and with Rubrik around the same here at 77. Both $12 billion in market cap, growing quite fast, very, very good business. Do I need to buy them? And I don't need to. I can just stick with what I have and add to the other positions, which I probably will. But if I were to look at new companies, it's those two. It's Rubrik and Shift4, and it's something that I said before. I currently do not own any of those, but I would love to own them. I would love to own them for sure.
Agree, Neil. For me, I mean, I don't have many big players. So I don't mind holding off and not taking. I have like some random small plays that I've invested in that maybe I'll sell off if the profits are good, but nothing. I'm not doing any major changes in my portfolio right now. The only one lately, let me see. What was I going to say? Marvell is definitely one I want to increase dramatically. I did a video yesterday, Neil. Marvell had investor conference yesterday, and they said a lot of bullish things. Let me just say, I like when management says what they say, so I enjoy reading transcripts, but I also like listening to how they say things, right? The energy behind them. And Marvell's CEO was like extremely, extremely pumped yesterday. They also kind of confirmed that there's no hiccup going to happen between them and Amazon. They finally gave that confirmation. Like there's no revenue gap. be for this year or next year revenue holds with them with Amazon. Very excited for growth potential. The other thing is Marvell is also one that's very strong in the optics business and the scale up approach. Things like retimers, things like PCIe, things like AEC, active electrical cables. And there's been a few companies that have been getting very excited in this space. I think Credo and Astera Labs have been two players that have been benefiting like that dramatically. Marvell says, you know what? We're not playing anymore. We're really going to go heavy in this market. And he even, one thing I found pretty exciting, that he even mentioned Marvell in the optics space. If you just add SOX, which is the semiconductor index multiple, maybe even give it just a small premium, nothing crazy. If you just do that to the optics business, that alone should be worth more than what Marvell is worth right now. But again, it's because many people don't know Marvell for their optic sides. They're really kind of into that Credo, to that what's the other one, Astera Labs. But I think, I don't know, I got very excited from Marvell, and it's one that it's up to $80, I think. I don't know what this stock price drop, where we're sitting 76. After I released this video, this is one, after that time wait, one I really want to increase my position into.
And a $5 billion buyback program.
Yeah, $5 billion. Yeah.
But you can see from the magic lines here, rejected from that.
Keep rejecting it so I can accumulate. Again. Rejected. Yeah. But yeah, Marvell is pretty exciting. My overall core positions, right, I think would be Nvidia, AMD, CoreWeave, GitLab, Marvell. And within that CoreWeave, you can probably put like Nebius. I don't think there's any right now with the current prices that I would want to buy into. The only one, Marvell, is the only one. So Marvell is the only one within there. Maybe GitLab actually as well. I think it dropped back down to like 40. It was sitting at 50-ish, but this is now back to the 46s.
Yeah. Wow. Almost getting close to those lines here. Maybe it will rebound. Okay, interesting. I want Google. Where is Google right now? Still good. I mean, finally, this is crazy, right? Google was overbought by quite a lot for a while now, and we're finally getting a little pullback, so that stock will not be that stretched anymore.
I appreciate, Roberto. I appreciate when someone sees the greatness in me.
Yeah, I did have to do a bing, bing, bong, bing, bing, bong last time.
Neil, I know you've entered. It's become a very popular one, the BMNR one.
The BMNR.
Any thoughts on this one? You guys got? I see a lot of the people I like talk about it. Any thoughts here? What are you doing? Anything?
Nothing. I have my 169 shares, and it will stay at 169 shares, and that's
it's a pure YOLO play. It seems, all right.
It's I'm not adding, like,
you're not making a 420 play.
Exactly. If he's correct, then fine, we'll be making money, and if he's not, then not. Thank you.
I just gotta let the world know the truth.
I paid these actors so that you will be coming back.
I see more the reverse. Nice.
But yeah, no, I mean, for everyone asking, for example, with regards to Sofi did hit $30, which was incredible on Monday. Now we have pulled back to $27 or so pre-market. Is there something specific about Sofi that went wrong, and that's why we're down a little bit? No. It's just that if you can look at the chart here, you can see that Sofi has been going up and up and up and up and up for the last 4 months or so. And so a little pullback is always good. Where can it go from here? First moving average here, 50-day one, sits at $24.50. Could be a good area to add if you want, for sure. Sofi is a very big position for me. Very happy with that. Like I said, I do have, for example, dLocal is probably one where I will be accumulating more shares either today or tomorrow. Something I said before. Oscar has been a bit all over the place in the last couple of days. We went up, we went down. Yesterday we went back up a little bit, and now we're back down 3% before the market opens. But it's staying here in this area around $18 for now. What else do we have here? AMD is still in the same, 160, 150s. Google is doing well. Duolingo is back, I think, yet or was back
Ah,
at 300.
nice.
Now
Yeah.
it's 296. New is still, around 60. So
Wow, that
that's
one
been
killed it.
doing very, very well. Yeah. United Healthcare was also up a little bit, $350. Uber did hit $100, Jose. Uber did hit
Congrats. I saw.
$100. Well, now we went back down, but that's fine. Meta still doing well, probably going to hold that 50-day moving average. PayPal is still painful. Still painful with Amazon here at $220, which is right on that, right closer to that 100-day moving average. We have Intel at $31 and Apple at 253 right now. So that
Yeah.
maybe let's have a look at the other painful names. We have Adobe still 350. It did have a nice run to 370, but that didn't hold. Salesforce probably still the same, right? 245 or so. Yep.
Yeah.
Crazy. That thing doesn't move. Let's see. Sezzle, the buy now pay later, still in the 80s, forming a nice base actually here. Chime, this is the fintech IPO of the year, did nothing, still here, $22. Let's see. Would you add to Nebius at these levels? Last time I did add to Nebius was still in the 90s, I think, or just under. Would I add right now? No rush for now. No rush for now. Last time I added was at September 16, $89.62.
Nice. Yeah.
No rush to buy more right now.
Are you betting it? I know you have made CoreWeave a nice position too, Neil. Are you happy with your position with CoreWeave 2 now, or is this one
no.
you okay? You're happy with both, content with position sizing. Now it's more like
for now
being patient and when opportunity arises, it gets
if
you.
we have
But
a
now
nice,
you can be the patient. Yeah.
If we have a nice pullback, then I'll take advantage of it. But I'm not in a stage where I suddenly have to chase to increase my my shares.
Yeah,
here.
I agree. Same. I think my Nebius, I didn't really grow too much. I just grew my CoreWeave dramatically. But I kind of put them around that same field where they might not grow the same amount, but they grow with that similar trend. So right now I feel like I could just be opportunistic of when I buy. But yeah.
No, that's
how about thoughts
wonderful.
on I know someone's asking here, Neil, for you for DLoco. I think DLO is that and any thought? Do you own this one? Any thoughts on buying?
I own this one. I've been covering this one for a long time now. And apparently Tanner is now also long Duolingo, so that's always good to have a fellow good creator on this name. But yeah, it's one I own. It's one I still accumulate more shares of. We'll see where we open up today, but I'm probably going to buy what they are with Thursday. It's either today or tomorrow. If we have a nice opportunity here, I don't see why not, because it was a very good quarter, good commentary. Stock is still cheap, still growing, still profitable. So
Roberto, Jose, how do you not own DLoco? I don't know.
He doesn't like fintech.
Is it a fintech? That's exactly it. Yeah. All right.
It's very simple.
It's simple answer. Thank you, Neil. We keep you around.
Thank you very much. Sofi 23 or 24, would you buy call or the stock or both? I'm not Joseph here, but where is Sofi? Here.
You can be Joseph today.
Yeah. Me personally, I would just continue to increase my shares. But I'm pretty sure there are some options plays that you can play here. If it does drop, then I don't know what the prices are for 26 $40 call options on Sofi or whatnot. I don't know. But it could be interesting, especially in the options market. Um, my PayPal ones are still actually my PayPal ones have been doing okay over the last couple of days. It's quite interesting how the stock doesn't really move much, but sometimes the options do indicate that there is a little bit more of positivity around the name.
Yeah. Yo here. Is CoreWeave a buy now? According to you guys, it had growth of more than 100% in the last few months. Um, I mean, I'm I'm personally not buying at these levels. If I wanted to, it would be this is where I would do very, very, very small dollar cost averaging. If I wanted to kind of get that itch off of having a position, it would be very small dollar cost averaging. Um, but I think we really enjoyed it in that like sub 100s, at least during this downturn that we just saw. Um, in the past month or so. I think that's where both of us really increased our positions here on Core. So for me right now, it's just very, very, I'd rather not do anything. But if I needed to do something, very, very small dollar cost averaging. You, Neil?
Same thing, same thing. Of course, your position is much bigger than mine, but I think the strategy is still the same. We have time. We have time, and if it drops, we'll just accumulate more. Because, as I said before, when there is momentum and a movement, just pick the right winners. And yes, there will be noise, but if you have the winner, then you'll sleep better at night. I know we've previously joked around with CoreWeave, etc., etc. But as you can see, huge deals. CoreWeave is in it, OpenAI is in it, Nvidia is in it, Orcl is in it. So pick your winners and allocate accordingly. There's literally no point in going all in YOLO, whatever, in these types of names. You have time. As you can see, we're having a little pullback today. It might be pulling back tomorrow even more, and maybe next week as well. We don't know. We don't have a crystal ball. But it is true that a lot of names have been going up quite significantly over the last couple of weeks. Some of the names, even the highest of quality names, right? Like Google. Look at Google. Extremely overbought over the last couple of weeks. Still an amazing company, right? Still an amazing company. But even amazing companies sometimes, if not most of the times, do come back down a little bit. It's fine, right? The only people that want things to go up every single day are the ones that are looking for an exit as soon as possible, right? Because otherwise you don't care, right? It's not a question of if it will go higher, it's just a question of when. It's the same with what we've been seeing with regards to SoFi a lot. It's like, oh, when $40, when $100. Like, if tomorrow SoFi is at $100, I'm out. This is my exit. If Nebius tomorrow is at 200 or whatnot, I'm out. This is my exit. It's the same for every other stock, right? If you put a super high price target right now, it's probably either because you have an options play that you need the stock to go up as soon as possible for you to not be liquidated, or you're just looking to exit. There's no reason why you would want a stock to go up significantly today and still own it, because it will become extremely overvalued. Then what's the point to own it? 0 point.
Zero.
0.0000.
But yeah, I mean, right now, Neil, I mean, these are times where with this pullback, I'm not going to do anything crazy. Maybe a little bit if I want to a position, maybe like sell a put. It's still, like you said, market's still pretty extended. So I'm not selling, but I'm not rushing to buy anything either right now. Exactly. And like you mentioned, long term, it's just patient. Patient works out.
Chris, no, I did not buy a Shift 4 yet. Although I have like half a finger on my mouse with Shift 4 and Rubric. Amazing, most profitable company in the world. Talking here about Google. Just so you know, both of us are extremely bullish on Google.
Yeah.
Uh,
So,
I
Neil,
have
now in
March and June, and my Junes are actually already up 30%. But the March one are now, I think, still down 2% or so. But we have I still have time.
Neil, I remember when Google was one of the most hated Mag 7s. Now it seems like it's one of the most, not most loved, but it's up there in getting love right now. It seems right now one of the most hated Mag 7s that is doing something is Amazon. I think it's trading at its kind of like cheapest valuation. I think I saw FinChat post or Fisco post a graph a few days ago how it's trading at its cheapest like forward valuation. Any thoughts on Amazon? I know you're a shareholder. Are you looking to increase position on Amazon or what's going on there?
No. It's number 2 in the retirement portfolio behind Meta. Still very happy. I've been a shareholder since 2018. Funny enough, it's been an underperformer over the last 5 years, right? I've seen a post on X like Amazon is up a significant amount already this year, blah, blah, blah. But Amazon, the great company, is underperforming for the last 5 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Underperforming the Mag 7 or underperforming like the
the
Qs?
S&P.
Oh, the S&P, even that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Underperformed the
Oh.
S&P over the past 5 years. So, yeah, that's Amazon for you.
There was a question here. I saw Gerald talking about Qualcomm. Let me see if I can pull it up really quickly. How do you feel about Qualcomm, ticker QCM? So Qualcomm, Gerald, is not a Broadcom competitor. I got it, Neil. Gerald, it's not a Qualcomm. It's not a Broadcom competitor. So Qualcomm, I mean, they do two things. They make kind of CPU processors based on ARM architecture, which goes on your phone business, on your phones. These kind of products also are starting to go into a lot of Internet of Things devices like AR glasses, VR glasses. They have some form of RF networking solutions that are also used in a lot of those mobile devices. I think the biggest competitor you might say might be like MediaTek, I think, based on their core business with CPU building, because MediaTek designs a lot of CPUs for the phone space as well. Qualcomm is actually having an event right now, Neil. I don't know if you've seen any news about it. They're just talking about the overall growth opportunities. And the stock has actually gone up a nice amount. I think last time it was sitting like in the 150s. I saw right now was like in the 170s. I don't know after this downturn, but I think Qualcomm has growth opportunities with this innovation. Look, I actually don't know what's happening here, but I think it's just the excitement of AR glasses, VR glasses, the excitement of their automotive business, which is growing dramatically. Ding, 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 bing, bong. Was it Bing? I didn't think it was ding. Ding. Thank you. Ichi's over here. Ding, ding, ding. Market is open. The market is open. But let's close it. Everything is ready. Close it back up. Let's
bing, bing, bong, bing, bong, bing, bong.
Close that thing right back.
So what do we have? We'll come back to the Qualcomm in just a second. AST.
Bungo, ding, ding. Ding, dong, ding, dong.
AST is down 5. Applied is down 5. BMNR is down 4.5. Iron down 4.5. Nebius 3.5. Zeta, same thing. Reddit is down 3%. Nice small pullback here for Reddit.
For Reddit, yeah.
CoreWeave down 3.6. Marvell is down 2.7. Oscar 2.3. Still at $18 though. Robinhood still near all-time highs, down 2.4. Novo Nordisk 2.8. Micron is down 3.4 right now. Sofi 2.5. D-Local is also down 2.1%, but we're seeing a little rebound here. AMD 2.4, 2.3 right now. Same, these things update quite quickly. Palantir 1.7, Google down 2, Duolingo 0.8, so quite strong for now. New Holdings 0.6, 0.7, Rocket Lab 2%, down that is, HIMS 1.5, Nvidia 1.3, then Meta, United Health, PayPal all down around 1% or so, Uber down 0.5, and the only green is the almighty struggling chip maker Intel, up 1.2, and Apple is basically flat for now. So ugly open. I don't know if I'll use the word ugly, because ugly would mean like -8%, like we've seen back in the early 2025s, so a couple of months ago. But yeah, other than that, this is basically the heat map at the moment.
Nice. None of my stocks are green. Actually, I don't think. Let me look. Yeah.
My Intel is green. Let's go.
Shut your mouth.
Okay, I had a
I have to
question.
stop hanging around with you. Now I'm wondering if I should enter into Intel, you know?
Libutan said that he wants to bring back Intel to $1 trillion by 2030. I don't know if it's a real quote or somebody made this thing up on X, but that's what I've seen.
I actually have a few green. No, I only have one stock that's green. I'm proud.
Yeah.
In a very small portfolio that I have, crowd is there.
So I had a question for you with
No.
regards to options.
Yes, sir.
So I talked about PayPal yesterday, and someone said that he bought 2028 January $60 call options. PayPal today is at 67 or so. I asked, what's the point? What's the point of buying $60 call options for 2028 when the stock is at 67 right now?
What did he tell you? I would say, I think when you buy in the money, even though, or even way inside the money. So like you're $7 already above. These long-term calls, you don't pay too much premium on the time, right? Because it already has a lot of that value from the actual intrinsic value of the stock. So you reduce it starts to act more like a stock than anything else, but you're still putting less of a premium on it. Right? Because if you buy that 80 call, let's say an 80 or 90 call, you're paying just pure premium on the time. That's exactly what you're paying, right? The time. If you're buying a 60 call, if you do the math, you're paying obviously at least that $7 or whatever the price difference between the stock. And then whatever additive is on that, the premium is so much lower of the time itself. Where like for that 80 call, you were paying like what, $7 for a premium on time, and then still far off. Where here, obviously, you're still paying a premium on time, but it's going to be a lot lower. So it starts to act more of a stock, and then it starts to, but you're still putting less premium. You're putting less capital in it, right? So I think it's more as a stock vehicle without putting the 100% capital in it, as you would in a stock. But yeah, very unique play. I don't know if I would typically do it, but I guess that's why they would do it. Synthetic shares, yes, exactly. They act as synthetic shares, yeah.
That was because then I looked at like a simulation. I was like, yeah, it's basically you're going to perform like the stock itself. Because if the stock, let's say, goes to $90, you're basically going to get the same return as if you held your shares, which is why I asked the question, what's the point to add to buy the $60
it's synthetic shares with a lower capital needed. So you can probably maybe like, instead of buying 100 shares, you can buy 2 options with that type of premium already, and you already have like, you're kind of synthetically leveraged there as well.
Yeah. To me, I was like, if you want to play the leaps here, in this case, it was 2028. Why not still do 70? Because that's still out of the money right now, but like $2 away. At least have some extra. But okay, fine. It's of course less risky since we're at 67. You buy at 60, so fine. Fine with that. Rise of the Phoenix, thank you very much for the super chat. Hey guys, glad you're back. We're glad to be back. Neil, the local target, a lot higher, a lot higher. Or you're asking me when the target to buy back, to buy more shares. Probably still the same price as today. Where is it? DL? No, that's Duolingo. Duolingo is at 300. Nice. Are we seeing some rebounds for some names? Not right now. Not right now. Still seeing a lot of red here across the board. Zeta is still close to $20. Core Weave not moved much. Marvel didn't move much. Oscar, same thing. The local at still minus 2% here. Still minus 2%. Let's see. I might pick up some shares. Let's see what Shift 4 is doing today. 80. Yeah, still 80. It's very attractive. It's very attractive. Remember the last time Jarek Isaacman, previous CEO, founder of Shift 4, bought shares was here. Was at around $83 or so, $16 million worth of shares or something like that. So the shares are now lower than they were when he bought back. Just something to
very nice
to note. And Rubrik is, I might just buy both of them. Right, it's just like making things much easier. Why choose if you can buy both? A Rocket Lab. I did buy more Rocket Lab actually. 2 days ago, I think.
Oh, really?
A little bit, yeah. I bought because back in July I sold 100 shares when it went for the first time, or where was it here? Above $50, and I was like, you know what? I'm taking a little bit of profits because I'm still long, but I'm not that greedy. So I sold 100 shares at $51.45. And since then, I bought back already 75 shares at $40 and at $48.9. So I still need to buy 25 extra shares to get back to the same amount of shares I had before, but of course at a lower cost. But yeah, that's Rocket Lab right now, still holding here on that 50-day moving average. Figma is a name that we haven't talked about.
And we've got some questions after here.
Yeah, you go ahead now. Go ahead.
So we're going to see if we can maybe power shoot through a lot. So Robin, now, what's your opinion on selling my Micron shares and rotating into Marvell? What's better for long term? Robin, unfortunately, I wish we had the answer. I am more bullish on Marvell, so I would say I like this thinking. I think maybe Neil, who's maybe a little bit more bullish on Micron, might say, you know what? I still think Micron. I think let me just say there's growth opportunity for both. I see growth optionalities for both. The only thing I would say is Micron right now might have seen a huge growth, while Marvell has kind of taken a massive beating. So in forms of valuation and where the market sees it, I like the opportunity from Marvell, but both do have growth opportunity from here. Neil?
You already answered. Like, I'm long Micron, but as I said before, I don't think taking profits would be bad here, especially if you want to enter something else, which in my case is a Shift 4 or a Rubrik.
Any thoughts on CrowdStrike or ASML right now, Neil?
No, we have here maybe a weird cup and handle pattern happening for CrowdStrike. Cybersecurity names are very expensive, which is why I will be going with Rubrik if I open up a position. But it's a tremendous company, CrowdStrike, and ASML has been on an absolute tear.
Wild. Holy smokes.
Since the Mistral investment and since the Intel news especially, because that could help ASML with Intel maybe ordering some new EUV machines from ASML.
Yeah, I mean, I think ASML at these values, I would rather buy a semiconductor ETF and now that's done this nice run up, right? I think a semiconductor ETF would probably give more similar results. I think there's obviously growth opportunities for ASML. but not a multi-bagger right here, right now. CrowdStrike, like Neil mentioned, I also think it's expensive. I don't follow it. I don't follow it lately too much. I own a small position and kind of like a retirement account. But it's not one I've added to in quite a while. So no real thoughts here. We have this question from Neil from Josh. Among Google, could CoreWeave, Zeta, Rocket Lab, I don't know what the other one is. I know you talk about it, but Rubrik, right? No.
Yeah, correct.
Which would out of these three, which would your three to buy now?
Huh. Well, I own Google. I own Rocket Lab. I just added to Rocket Lab a couple of days ago. So there's your answer. So I guess I had to put Rocket Lab at number one because I just bought it. So it would be strange if I said no. Then Rubrik, I don't own it, but I would like to own it. So I guess that's number two. And then the last one is it's probably either CoreWeave or Google because I own both. So whichever goes down more, I'll buy.
Yeah, Josh, I don't think I have any answers because I only follow Google and CoreWeave out of this list. But I wouldn't be buying these two right now, but just because of my position sizing. But if it was, I mean, those are the only two that I know. Neil, we got this question, guys. Thoughts on Navitas?
Navitos.
Navites. I think this is a trading vehicle with an opportunity to become an investment vehicle in the long term. I think at least for this year, it will be more of a trading vehicle where it's going to react a lot to the news in the market. But potential long term idea here with kind of like that Nvidia in a multi-year time frame. I don't think it's going to be anything that happens this quarter or next quarter or even the quarter after that.
Mm-hmm. Quick question: is there a government shutdown, or is just a fear of they might shut it down?
I think last time we saw it was just a fear of it, and I saw people were still betting, and it was like almost like a 90% bet chance.
Okay.
Thoughts
Did they
about
try to
Nebius?
turn it off, on and off?
Turn off and on. We'll see. We'll see if that works. This is one of your babies, Neil. Any thoughts on Nebius right now?
Still love it. Still love it. I still hold. I am not. I'm not selling a single share. Let's put it that way. I'm not selling a single share of Nebius. I will be buying and accumulating more shares accordingly. That's it.
All right. Yeah. Same. This is dollar cost averaging on opportunistic time for me. Pretty much what like kind of Neil mentioned, but I'm more. I kind of view my Nebius, CoreWeave, and all the positions as one because they do kind of trend within the same market. So I think of that kind of like portfolio allocation, right? Neil's like, hey, if I own a lot of CoreWeave, does it make sense for me to also own a lot of Nebius? We have this yield max investor. Would you sell Berkshire to buy Marvell and Micron? Maybe if you don't own Berkshire, I'm gonna reword this. Would you sell maybe one of your safety plays? I think that's how yield max maybe believes his Berkshire is a safety play. Would you sell one of your safety plays to buy one of these growth opportunities?
Probably not. Like what's a safety play? Like a Google?
Yeah, like a Google, maybe you,
No.
like for me, I have
No.
like a Max 7 ETF that I consider kind of like stable, right? It's not something, I think right now for me, yield max, same as Neil, I wouldn't sell kind of like a safety ETF, a safety play, unless maybe my portfolio is like 70%. At my age, if I had like 70% on a safety play and only like 10% on a growth, maybe yes, but it's all, I guess, about portfolio allocation.
Where's one question here? This is like the hindsight question that everybody's asking. Should I have taken profits at $30? You can. Oh, that's the thing. You can always take profits. $30 or $27.6. What's the difference? $2.40. Not much, right? Not much difference. You can take profits along the way. No problems with that. But just because now we're only $2.40 lower, regretting the fact that you have not taken profits is bad for future you investor, because at $30 Sofi is still a good company. I'm holding Sofi because I do think it's going to become a much bigger company than it is right now, or it was at $30 or so. But yeah, every investor is at a different stage of his life, right? There are investors with new family, new house, whatever, and maybe one of their stocks have exploded, and so they're taking a lot of money off the table because they need it, right? Because suddenly something happened, and it's fine. It's fine. Me personally, I'm not touching my SoFi shares, not touching my Nebius. I can touch some other positions for sure, right? If the story is still good, but suddenly I like something else, like I keep saying, Rubric and Shift 4, then I might just allocate some capital to those names, and then you will see a shift in allocation. But yeah, that's about it for us right now. In case something drastically changes and we're red again like crazy tomorrow, we're probably going to maybe pop up real quick for tomorrow. But right now, sit back, relax, look at some good companies that might maybe be suddenly reaching your buy targets, and yeah, don't stress. I mean, it's been a long time since we actually had some pullback, so chill, relax. It's just another Thursday here. It's just another Thursday here.
Just another
So
Thursday. Yeah.
thank you all for joining us. I'm off to play the new racket sport paddle. I don't know. I've been going on this thing now. No, it's quite. I have to admit, and I hate to admit it, I was wrong, and it's actually quite fun. It's actually quite fun.
Wait, what are you playing?
You know, paddle, like the tennis squash type of game, like the fastest growing sport at the moment. At
Okay.
first, I didn't like it because it took away all the tennis courts, but I've been playing quite a lot now in the last 2 weeks, and it's not bad. It is not bad. But anyways, that's maybe a talk for sports streams, which is not now. No, my wrist is not broken. It's just like a tendonitis thing. Anyways, thank you all for joining, and we'll see each other tomorrow probably.